The flashlight died just as I stepped onto the gravel shoulder, and the lights flickered on, half a mile down the pitch-black road, dancing where the asphalt disappeared. Earlier, I was a guy with a half-eaten breakfast burrito in the glove box, a Tuesday migraine, and a bill collector's voicemail blinking like a tiny bomb on my cracked phone screen. My name is Scott. I'm 34, work part-time at the auto shop off Route 8, and the closest thing I've got to a family is a diabetic cat named Tito and a sister who only calls when she needs bail money. Rent's late again. My right knee crunches when it's cold. Mom used to say I'd break my luck if I kept tempting it, but Mom's been gone a decade and luck isn't real, just math and mistakes. I'd only taken the back roads because of the construction on Main. Old habits. Cut corners, save gas, stay out of sight. Halfway home, the dashboard lights started dimming, then the radio fizzed into a wash of static so sharp it made my fillings ache. I killed the engine outside a dead motel, all bramble and shattered glass, only to realize my phone was already down to 2% and the charger socket didn't work. No cell service. Not even a bar. Just me and Tito wheezing in his carrier, his breath raspy from missing his meds again. Guilt pricked at me. He never asked for any of this, just picked the wrong guy to follow home from the shelter. That's when I saw the first light. It was pale, shuddering, like someone dragging a lantern behind a screen of leaves. For a second, I thought it might be another car, or a jogger with a headlamp. But the way it drifted, unsteady, too slow, swinging out across ditch and back, I knew it wasn't right. Then another appeared, farther off, and another, and they pulsed in strange sync, never touching, never moving closer, just weaving in patterns my tired brain couldn't line up with anything I knew. I blinked, and one vanished. Tito meowed, claws raking the mesh, and the hairs on my arms prickled. I tried to tell myself it was just swamp gas, headlights bouncing off low clouds, whatever. But when I pointed my flashlight down the road to check, the bulb popped with a tiny chemical snap, and every light but mine stayed lit. Now I was alone in the dark, Tito's carrier banging against my shin, my hands shaking hard enough to make my old ring scrape the wire handle. I remembered the way my dad's flashlight always cut out halfway through camping trips, how he'd pretend it was an adventure until the panic crept in around the edges. Dad said the worst thing in the woods was getting turned around by your own fear. But Dad never saw lights move like this. Something sharp flickered inside the nearest one, like teeth catching a beam. I could hear faint off-key music, notes rising and falling in a rhythm that made no sense, half lullaby, half warning, but never repeating. My head pounded. The lights started weaving again, only now they were closer, as if the darkness itself was carrying them forward. I had two choices: stand frozen and hope they passed, or move and pray my feet found the road before the lights did. I pressed Tito's carrier to my chest and stepped forward. The gravel shifted, loud as thunder under my sneakers. The nearest light shivered and seemed to grow brighter. That's when Tito let out a sound I'd never heard before, low, desperate, almost human, and every single light snapped toward us at once. I bolted, nearly tripping over my own feet, Tito's carrier banging against my ribs. My breath came sharp and shallow. I tasted metal and something sour at the back of my throat. Behind me, the lights skimmed across the gravel, faster now, stretching and collapsing as if they weren't bound to anything solid. I focused on the broken white line in the road, counting each dash, trying not to look back. The music kept scraping at my skull, too close, needle-thin, like a lullaby run backward. My knee gave out and I stumbled, one hand scraping the ground. The ring I'd never managed to pawn cut into my finger, and for a split second I pictured Dad's hands, grease-stained, steady, changing my bike chain while I watched, useless. I dragged myself up, Tito's hissing, frantic now, the carrier twisting in my grip. The lights were spreading out, fencing me in, pinwheeling around each other, every spin sending up a smell like scorched pennies and mildew. I cut through the weeds, veering off the road, ankle-deep in glass and brambles. I could see the old motel's sign ahead, rusted letters barely hanging on. OASIS. I aimed for it, chest burning. Tito's breathing sounded wrong, shallow, arrhythmic. I whispered promises I couldn't keep. Just a little farther, buddy, just a little farther. The lights followed, but now they flickered at odd intervals, blinking out and reappearing a few feet away, always closer, never in the same order. I ducked behind the concrete sign base, cradling Tito, pressing my cheek to his carrier. He was trembling, his tiny heart pounding against the plastic. My phone vibrated once, random, no service, and for an instant, the cracked screen flashed up Mom's old photo, her eyes dark, smile crooked. Then it went dead. Something heavy pressed in from behind the sign, a presence that didn't make sense. Too cold, too dense. My teeth chattered. I could hear the whine of Tito's wheeze echoing back at me, multiplied, like more than one cat was trapped in the dark. I remembered the vet's warning. Keep him calm. No stress. I swallowed the urge to cry. The lights hovered in a loose circle now, their brightness pulsing in time with the music, washing the weeds and asphalt in sick white. Each pulse sent a jolt through my nerves, until I was shaking as hard as Tito. I wanted to call out, ask if anyone was there, but my tongue felt thick. I reached for the carrier door, thinking I'd let Tito run if things got worse, but the latch stuck, and my hand slipped on the wire. My old ring twisted, pinching skin. My head swam. Just as I tried to pull Tito closer, a voice crackled through the static, a low, warbling sound that mimicked my own breathing, but wrong, stretched out and broken. "Scott, come see." The lights bobbed, inching forward. I tried to press myself flatter against the concrete, but the cold soaked straight through me. The music dropped out, and all I could hear was that voice, repeating my name, slurred and muffled, like it was coming from underwater or deep inside my own head. Tito went silent. The lights tilted inward, halos closing in, their edges pulsing like living things. My only way out was back across the open, straight through the lights. I squeezed my eyes shut for half a second, forcing my body to move. I wasn't brave, just out of choices. Tito's carrier was slippery in my grip, my palm already numb from the cold and the pressure. I sucked in air and lunged from behind the sign, shoving my way out into the lot, every muscle tight with dread. The lights reeled back like they hadn't expected me to move. Their shapes shifted, jagged and wrong, outlines blurring like heat above asphalt. I staggered into the open, pain knifing through my knee. My old sneakers slapped against broken pavement, kicking up glass and stones. Something flashed in my periphery, a single stuttering light, smaller than the rest, darting between my ankles. I almost tripped but managed to keep running, driven by a panic that was bigger than pain. I aimed for the motel's lobby, the only place that might have a door I could wedge shut. Tito's weight grew heavier in my arms, his breathing now a harsh rattle. My heart banged so hard I worried I might black out before I made it. As I reached the steps, the lights clustered, blocking the road behind me. One flared with a sick orange glow, and I caught a glimpse of something inside. An outline, almost like a hand, pressed against the inside of the light, stretching it thin, fingers twitching. I crashed into the door and found it stuck, warped from years of rain and neglect. I slammed my shoulder into it. The ring on my finger dug in, splitting the skin. I tasted blood as I bit back a scream. Behind me, the lights hovered, close enough now that I could see things, shapes, faces, shifting in their cores, pale and melting like wax. The warped hand in the brightest light drummed its fingers in time with that off-key music, every beat scraping against my nerves. With one last shove, the door groaned open, splinters flying. I fell inside, Tito's carrier crashing to the floor. The smell inside was thick with mold, sour beer, the kind of rot that seeps into your skin. I braced the door with a busted chair, my hands shaking so hard I dropped my phone. It skittered across the lobby tiles, screen spiderwebbed but still dark. For a second, nothing happened. I slid down against the wall, fighting to catch my breath. My knee throbbed. Tito huddled silent in his carrier, his eyes wide, glowing a strange gold in the dim. A sound scratched through the cracked window, a whisper, not a voice but a suggestion, like a memory half remembered. It called my name again, softer, coaxing. The vowels stretched out into something that wasn't quite human. My phone screen flickered to life by itself, the battery icon red. Instead of the lock screen, it showed my contacts list, all the names wiped except one, Mom. The ringtone, a piece of tinny music I hadn't heard in years, began playing, the same lullaby that drifted through the lights outside. The call timer started ticking up. I stared at the phone, chest tight, while outside the lights began crawling up the motel wall, slow and deliberate, searching for a way in. I fumbled the phone, hands clammy, watching the call timer stutter and skip. The lullaby on the ringtone twisted, sour notes warping into static. I knew I should hang up, smash the phone, anything, but my thumb hovered, frozen. Tito whined softly, a threadbare sound. Outside, the lights crept along the siding, the orange one pausing at the busted window, pressing close until the glass puckered inward, then snapped back. A chill traced my spine. I pressed my palm to Tito's carrier, feeling the vibration of his heartbeat. I forced my voice to work. "It's okay. We're okay." It was a lie. From the phone, a woman's voice, my mother's but wrong, slowed down, stretched out, as if it was trying to mimic her laugh and missing all the edges. "You can come home now, Scott. It's warm. Don't leave me alone." Every instinct screamed at me to drop the phone. I bit the inside of my cheek, tasting blood and memory. Christmas mornings, cheap pine scent, Mom's burnt toast. The longing nearly drowned me. Through the window, the lights shifted, now pulsing to the rhythm of my mother's words, swelling, shrinking, always listening. My knee throbbed in time. The pain kept me grounded. I grabbed the carrier, holding Tito close, and limped toward the back hallway, the only exit left. I found a service door barely hanging on its hinges. I kicked it open, wood splintering beneath my heel, and staggered into the night. The lights whirled in the parking lot, weaving between busted cars, faster and sharper. The orange light cut ahead, blocking my path, swelling so bright I had to shield my eyes. It spoke again, every word my mother's voice but twisted, echoing in the empty lot. "Stay. Don't go. It's so dark." My body ached with cold and exhaustion. I backed away, feeling the ring bite my finger, a stubborn ache, a reminder. I remembered Dad's advice. Don't trust the easy way out. Don't follow what feels familiar in the dark. I gritted my teeth, turned, and limped toward the highway, forcing each step. The lights flickered, erratic, then snapped into a hard, desperate chase. I made it to the embankment, hauling Tito's carrier up by the handle. The air tasted electric. A car blazed by, headlights slicing through everything. For 1 second, the real world split the darkness, the lights recoiling, shriveling against the glare. I bolted for the shoulder, nearly losing my grip on Tito. The lights faded in the rear view of the passing car, shrinking to nothing. My phone slipped from my pocket, skidding across the gravel. Its screen cracked, the call still open but silent. The motel, the parking lot, the lights, all drowned out by the sound of engines and living human noise. I kept walking, every muscle screaming, eyes burning from tears and exhaustion. Tito wheezed quietly, pressed close, alive. If you're listening to this, if you ever find yourself alone, somewhere you shouldn't be, with lights moving where they shouldn't, don't follow them. Don't listen to any voice that calls you by name. And whatever you do, don't stop to look back. Thanks for making it to the end of this nightmare. If you want more stories that'll keep you looking over your shoulder, subscribe to Dark Whispers. Hit the bell so you never miss the next warning. And remember, some things in the dark aren't meant to be followed.